you say tasty smooth? You're an M&M?
Yeah.
Because that reminds me. Our next guest can probably talk about this. We've talked about it before, I believe. In Canada, there was when people used to say M&M, frozen burgers, beef. Like at all the football game stuff, they would always say, "Is this M&M?" It's confusing because it's it's still in the same vertical. It's a food item, and M&M you would think they have some kind of you'd think they have some kind of monopoly on it. And then the hip hop came and messed it all up. So we had three M&Ms to worry about when you're doing it phonetically. So that's a spoiler for people who don't know who our next guest. He's also from the Great White North, or at least I don't know if he has a dual citizenship or not. But today he wanted us to plug justiceforliberty.com, which we will get to in a second. Of course, he's the host of Get Off My Lawn on Censored.tv. Gavin McInnes, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. And you remember the M&M food stuffs?
M&M Meat Shops was started by Charles Rennie McIntosh and his son Doug McIntosh, and they called it Macintosh and Macintosh, and then was Mac and Mac, and then it was M&M, and it was premium quality meats used in meat pies, used for mince and tatties, and the cows came from Calgary, cowboy country.
Oh, well, there you go. So I wasn't wrong. They were very good. Yeah. Very good quality. And now I'm forced to I basically pick up the refuse from Costco. They're sirloin burgers. Did I say boogers? Sirloin burgers are also delicious. Hey, Gavin, Senior McInnes, where are you right now?
I'm at the Gaylord Convention where I feel most comfortable. And this is where, Gaylord
hold on, that just lets you know the maturity level of this room and your room, that we all giggled at Gaylord. It's still funny.
We did, it's funny.
It never won't be funny. It's like farts. Gaylord and farts.
It will never be mortal. Now, what's at the Gaylord Convention?
So it's a Gaylord Convention Center, actually. It's not a Gaylord Convention.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Well, it actually is, really, ultimately. But it's CPAC. And they denied my press pass, so I paid $600 for me and Ryan to come here as mere mortals, and we'll see if I get kicked out. But I'm not here to pick a fight. I'm here for unity and love. And if I get
You're not aiming to be kicked out.
No.
You're not going to do that thing where you just put like a camera in the face, be like, "Hey, you're a prick," and they kick you out and go, "What happened?"
Yeah, like Tim Heidecker and what's his name, the black guy who went down to...
they went down to the Republican convention, I think, at one point. And it was just so lazy. Yeah, it was just like, they put on like American flag panties and go, blah, 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 we're gay.
Yeah, and they just assumed that everyone was uptight, and they all just went, "What are you doing? Have a seat. What's going on?"
Have a beer, man.
It's embarrassing.
Did you get those shorts in the gift shop? Yeah, that's a hot selling item. It's basically CPAC's Tickle Me Elmo this year. Well, good. And by the way, even if you are invited to CPAC, you still have to pay $600 your own travel. Oh. That's why I hosted it for 4 years. And I hosted it for 4 years, 3 years over 4. I got violently ill one time. And then it just, some people like it. It was not for me. I think it's been 6 or 7 years since I've been there. Well, hopefully you don't get kicked out. So here's my question too. Speaking of drama, have you been following the debates at specifically last night? Okay, good. You watched last night because no one did. It wasn't even trending on Twitter for the first hour and a half.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was really, really bad. Let me ask you this. We've been asking everyone today. How would you compare what you think the chances are of Donald Trump winning in 2020 today versus how you felt a year ago? Do you feel more strongly in the position, less?
It went from he was going to win by a mudslide about a year ago. Now he's going to win by a mega landslide. These dummies have been going on identity politics and platitudes for so long that now that someone's asking them to say something of substance, they're lost. They're screaming fools. And it was like Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Last night was a brawl in a parking lot. There was broken eardrums. There was people falling backwards.
Wait, what's the analogy to Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury? That was a sanctioned bout on pay-per-view. That wasn't a brawl in a parking lot. Are you confusing with bum fights? Did you order the bum fights?
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Wilder and Fury was bum fights.
It was pretty close.
It was total anarchy. I mean, did you see that one point where he grabbed him and just started going?
Yeah, I know. I started licking the blood off of him, which is weird because Tyson Fury's such a nice guy. He's not like it just seems a little out of character, but I like him. He's a breath of fresh air. Talk, Gavin.
I'm sure Pete Buttigieg is a great guy. I'm sure they're all nice, but you put them in the ring like that, and they just become.
Yes, exactly. I don't think Pete Buttigieg needs to be in the ring for that, though.
That's
I'm
his
actually.
Personal time.
I want to get back to the debates. I'm actually convinced that Pete Buttigieg's husband is a beard. I think Pete Buttigieg is
I've
straight.
been saying that.
I don't think he's gay.
I've been saying that.
It
for
seems
a
like
while.
because he like came out in his 30s. Have you seen them kiss? It's like,
it's awkward.
I don't know. I don't think he's actually gay.
Well, that happens with a lot of gays. They try it for a few decades and then they go, this is gross.
And then at that point, they've run out of alternatives. Who do you think the nominee will be based on the recent debates? Because Bernie is obviously the front runner. Bloomberg has more money than God. It's tough.
Well, I think Bernie is going to be the front runner. He's going to win everyone's He's going to win everyone's votes, but the DNC will rig it such that it's Warren and Klobuchar, and then they're going to say something stupid like, who is the president of Mexico? And that will be the end of the DNC.
Just, you're not acting inconspicuous there at CPAC. Every time someone
they know you're there.
Someone with melanin in their skin walked by, you were like, what time is
No,
it?
I've got a lineup of hot broads waiting to talk
right
to
off
me.
screen. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Okay, well, there you go. I just saw the one lady in the wheelchair, but I'm sure she's hot as well.
Here, do you want to do a selfie while I'm on Crowder?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
let
let's do
the
it.
lady do a selfie.
Crowder selfie.
That way we can see. Oh, look at that. We found Waldo.
Right here, ready?
Oh, it's an American. That's adorable. Oh, well, good. That's a lot of
No
fun.
problem.
Now, I'm sorry, ladies, but I have to borrow Gavin for a minute because he was scheduled a week in advance, if you can believe it.
Yeah, you gotta let him go.
Sign language. She said,
We'll bring it back to. Yep.
and I said, what?
I'm on
Gavin,
the TV.
Gavin, compliment their physiques and then move on.
Okay. Nice meeting you.
I feel like you're my Rupert right now. I just want to send you through and make you say things that are very uncomfortable for you, but I know you'll be very quick to be kicked out. What was your favorite moment from the debates there this last week? There were a lot of them.
Oh, I liked when Biden said that he wrote a bill that he didn't write, and they went back and forth arguing about fact checks. Or wasn't there a part when Buttigieg and who was it? Was it Bloomberg, where they were just talking at the same time
Yes.
for like 40 seconds?
Yes. Yeah, and then
sounded
Biden
like-
jumped in and said, "Let me finish," when he wasn't even talking. Did you see that? I think it was Buttigieg,
Yeah.
and we talked about it yesterday, but
Bloomberg?
it all bleeds together. No, then Biden said, "Let me finish." He hadn't spoken for a minute and a half. I think
He's
he might actually have
continuing a thought
dementia.
5 minutes
Some people
earlier.
thought I was joking yesterday.
Yeah.
I think he might actually have early dementia.
I think you're right. Like
Worried
this
about
stuff about. Did you see that 9-hour story he told the other day about some guy with a switchblade who was going to cut him? So he put a chain around his fist, and they met in the parking lot.
I kind of love Joe Biden.
Did he really?
Yeah, the story, he was a lifeguard in some dangerous neighborhood, and he kicked out some dude who then got a straight razor and was going to meet him in the parking lot. And so he wrapped a chain around his fist, and he said, "I apologize for the first part, but I don't apologize for kicking out of the pool." And he just goes on.
What?
It's like a 9-minute story that he told at
man.
a podium. And people in the audience are like, "Can I go get popcorn?" What's going to go on for?
An intermission?
And only Vice President Joe Biden would tell a story to try and gain some territory in the good graces of blacks and talk about being a lifeguard.
Yeah.
Joe Biden. Like, you couldn't be more out of touch. Like, he thinks that they're going to hear like, "Oh, yeah, man, I hate my lifeguard, too."
Yeah. I spend all
When
my
I'm
time
swimming,
at the public pool.
which I do all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly swimming. I'm a fish.
The lifeguards, they give me all the flack for my floaties.
Yeah.
Man, it's a problem. Yeah, it would be fun if it were Biden. I think the issue with Bernie is, like we talked about this yesterday and just earlier today as well, he's a socialist, sort of a revolutionary, but he's talking about how the system is broken. 90% of Americans right now, this is the highest ever in our lifetime, are happy with their personal lives. They're also, it's also a decade high, I believe, as far as their satisfaction with the handling of the economy. So it's tough to revolutionize, to do a 180 on the economy when everyone is happy with it. And so I used to think Bernie was the hardest candidate to beat. And I think that was right a year ago because he would do better in the Rust Belt. But now that the economy has been swimming along, the socialist revolutionary seems less appealing.
Yeah, it's just really students with student debt that get excited about this stuff now. And I love how, by the way, the system is broken and Bernie's solution is, well, more system. Let's have bigger government because the government isn't working properly.
Right.
Let's expand.
Right, like I always forget his name. Borello, who's the Rage Against the Machine guy? Tom,
ask me, I
whatever.
don't know.
You know, Rage
Zach
Against.
De La Rosa.
No, that's another.
Oh, no, the other guy.
Ethnic sounding name. No, it's I don't know, but he said Rage Against the Machine, and then he actually campaigned for Barack Obama. I don't understand how that works.
That machine.
Yeah.
You know, another option for the DNC is Bloomberg takes Hillary as his running mate, as his VP, right? He gets in, and then mysteriously Bloomberg gets depressed and kills himself.
Yeah, well, so does Alex Jones. The second that he hears Bloomberg and Hillary Clinton are the tickets, you're just going to see his legs dangling next to his carbon block filter. It's not going to go well. That's not a slight to Alex Jones. I just can't think of a ticket that is more of a nightmare for someone like Alex Jones, or the Rust Belt either. They think they're going to win Michigan, Bloomberg. I don't understand this. All right, well, go ahead.
I'm opening for Alex Jones tonight. That sounds like a joke, but it's not. It's true.
Where are you speaking?
At the Omni Hotel, a free speech thing.
Okay.
A seminar on free speech.
Now, was it, because you sent me a shirt that was free speech TV. Is it's censored.tv? For some reason, I thought it was free speech.
It was. I got sued by Free Speech TV.
Oh. No.
So we had to change the name.
Who's Free Speech TV suing you?
Exactly.
Not that free.
Okay, all right. Okay, so it is censored.tv. I got that right. And I wanted to get an update here. This is something you wanted us to talk about, justiceforliberty.com. And this is from, if I'm not mistaken, was it one of the Proud Boys? Was it John Kinsman, who is, he's been sentenced to prison. How many years in prison now is he sentenced to?
4 years. Wow. 4 years.
4 years for effectively a bar fight with Antifa, where there was mutual combat.
Exactly. They ambushed them. They said, let's do this. Proud Boys said, okay. Beat them up for 17 seconds. And now Max Hare and John Kinsman are in prison for 4 years. John Kinsman has 3 kids, 3 black kids, and he's in prison for being a member of a hate group. So we started Justice for Liberty for his baby, his newborn, Liberty, so they can do stuff like go visit them. They put these guys right at the Canadian border as kind of an FU to the friends and family. So It's now like a 17-hour commute to visit them, and that gets expensive. So we want Liberty to be able to see her dad. Yeah. And we're raising money at justiceforliberty.com.
Justiceforliberty.com. And this is one thing I do want that really bothers me. People always say this. Can you stop when you try to convince people that you're not racist? Can you stop saying you have black friends? It's like, well, hold on a second. Not only is that a legitimate defense, but you guys thought it was a legitimate defense, as seen in American History X, in that Edward Norton only learned the wrong ways of his racism when he had a black friend in prison. So having a black wife should kind of count.
Well, I wouldn't have brought it up if you didn't throw him in prison for being in a hate group. I wasn't running around before he was arrested going, oh, that's my friend John. That's his black wife. Look, she's totally black. She even has dreads. And those are his kids. Look, they're mixed. That's my friend. We didn't bring it up till they said, you're a member of a hate group and you hate black people. You're like, I'm married to them, dude. They started it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what were the I was looking at some of the charges. Was it attempted gang assault? I've never heard of that before because usually when gangs assault, it's not an attempt.
They tend to do a good job. They also got assault with a deadly weapon, and John's deadly weapon was he happened to have like a penknife in his pocket that never came out, but because it was on his person, it's a deadly weapon. And Max Hare was kicking him with his boots. They made his boot a deadly weapon. It's listed as like Exhibit B. Yeah, it was a total kangaroo court. And there was a third kid there, David Kyriakos. He was brown. They separated him from the trial so they could focus on this white power thing. And then when it was time for his trial, they just sort of went, it's over, forget it. You run along home. Because they realized it would disturb their narrative. It's a total frame job.
Right. Yeah, and that's really. I mean, I know people who. I knew a kid actually from my old high school who got kicked out for counterfeiting tickets to the school talent show, and then he was like a mule because you mentioned the Canadian border, carrying drugs across the American border to Canada. This had been going on for a long time. I think the DEA had been tracking it. He only joined them the last 2 weeks, and then he ended up being one of the fall guys, and he only did a few months in prison for like a major drug trafficking ring. 4 years for a bar fight.
Wow.
Wow.
It's completely insane.
Well, I appreciate you trying to do what you can. It's justiceforliberty.com. And I know the show is Get Off My Lawn at censored.tv. We are going to go for people watching here on YouTube. If you are not a Mug Club member, go to loudwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. Join up because we're about to go to the Web Extended with Gavin McInnes. Don't say McGinnis.
Yes.
One moment.